At the start of the story, we meet Leven, a construction foreman who looks world-weary as he preps for another tough day in his truck before heading onto a foggy, imposing construction site. He's a man of few words but clear authority, joining his crew for a break, reluctantly accepting homemade food from a younger worker, Nikos, who calls him Jefe. Leven gives the crew a gruff pep talk about the demanding day ahead, inspections, deliveries, potential bonuses, ending with a reminder about staying safe. The gritty routine shatters when thugs arrive, targeting Nikos. Leven steps in, trying diplomacy first, but when the thugs push, his protective instincts ignite. The quiet foreman explodes into brutally efficient action, dispatching the attackers with whatever construction tools are available. A bucket of nails becomes shrapnel, a pickaxe finds its mark, cement dust provides cover, and a hammer and shotgun finish the job. His message to the survivors is cold: get out, don't come back. His boss's daughter, Jenny, witnesses the violence's aftermath. Aware of Leven's hidden depths, she asks if it was military shit, a notion Leven dismisses. Despite his denial, she offers her support. The scene shifts drastically as Leven arrives at a lavish suburban house for his daughter, Meredith's elaborate Alice in Wonderland-themed party. The joyous reunion is cut short by the arrival of Dr. Roth, his daughter's grandfather. He tries to provoke Leven, calling him an unsafe parent and a killer, attempting to provoke the violence he suspects lies beneath the surface. Leven remains stone-faced, highlighting the stark contrast between his working-class life and the hostile, affluent world his daughter inhabits. Driving with his daughter Meredith, Leven notes the irony of her grandfather, Dr. Roth, hosting a party on his visitation day. Meredith skips breakfast to wait for him. At a diner, Leven gives her a framed photo of her younger self with her mother. Meredith sadly reveals her grandfather removed pictures of her mom, making it hard to remember her face. "She looks like you," Leven reassures her. Meredith confesses she's angry at her mom for dying and leaving them. Leven admits he feels the same pain. The scene cuts to a stark, modern office where Leven faces his lawyers. They deliver grim news. Dr. Roth is leveraging Leven's 22-year military past, alleging untreated PTSD and brain trauma make him a violent risk. Roth is petitioning the court for severely reduced, supervised visitation, just 1 hour every 2 weeks. Undeterred by the lawyer's warning that Roth's legal team will financially ruin him, Leven puts his $10,000 life savings on the table, determined to fight the legal battle till the end. Meanwhile, Jenny, Leven's boss's daughter, parties with friends after getting fake IDs. They hit a crowded bar where bartender Johnny gives Jenny a reserved table. Later, her friend Nina gets sick in the restroom. As Jenny helps her, they're ambushed by a woman with face tattoos and a man with a skeleton hand tattoo. Jenny is gagged and kidnapped. Police arrive at the construction site. Jenny's desperate parents plead with Leven to use his skills to find her, as the police seem indifferent. Aware of his past and Leven's capabilities of hunting bad guys, and offers him $70,000 to find her. Leven, despite claiming he's a different person now, agrees as he desperately needs money. He drives to a remote cabin, greeted by an arrow thudding into a tree near him. It's his old comrade, Garvey. Sharing drinks by a fire, their dialogue hints at a difficult shared past involving Leven saving Garvey's life but failing to save his eyes. Leven confirms he's there about Jenny. Garvey advises Leven to lock in and go full on because the situation demands his old self. Leven assures him he will, having promised Jenny's distraught parents he'd bring her back. Back in his modest apartment, Leven reviews the meager clues: a missing person poster for Jenny Garcia, 19, last seen at Skip's bar at 1:18 a.m., and photos of Jenny with her friends. He notices the location Skip's bar on his tablet and drives there. Leven racks Jenny's last known location, Skip's bar. He examines the dimly lit alley behind the bar. He uses a small camera to find a clue: a single pearl earring, just like the one Jenny wore. He follows this lead to the bartender, Johnny, finding him at home getting high. Leven bypasses pleasantries, demanding to know where Jenny is. When Johnny feigns ignorance, Leven shows him the photo, mentioning Johnny's friends snatched her. Johnny claims she ran off drunk. Leven, trusting biology over lies, doesn't buy it. He knows Johnny's lying and violently confronts him, demanding the truth. He employs a brutal waterboarding technique in the bathtub, using a wet towel to simulate drowning. Under duress, Johnny reveals the kidnappers' names and details, warning Leven they are next-level criminals who wipe out entire bloodlines. Just as Leven presses for names, Johnny's associates burst in. A chaotic, close-quarters fight erupts. Leven uses Johnny as a human shield, takes out the attackers with lethal precision using his shotgun and their own weapons, then calmly adjusts his gloves. Checking the bodies, he confirms they are Russians by their tattoos, grabs the ransom money they had, and examines their belongings for his next clue. Next scene we see Jenny captive, desperately trying to free herself inside a dark abandoned room. Next day, he sets up surveillance using his tablet connected to a hidden camera in his truck's thermos. A black Mercedes arrives, and two garishly dressed men get out, followed by an older, sharply dressed man who seems to be their handler or boss. Leven observes, records, and meticulously notes details connecting the dots. The suited man named Wolo surveys the bloody scene, utterly unimpressed. His two flashy associates, decked out in bizarre tracksuits, report their findings. Wolo is furious furious, questioning why his own men ended up shooting each other. "This is very unprofessional," he snaps, criticizing Johnny's lack of control. One associate tries to smooth things over, calling it bang bang time, a phrase that clearly doesn't amuse Wolo, and he slaps one of them. Wolo is furious about losing $90,000 of Simon's money. Examining a body, Wolo identifies the shotgun wound and realizes this wasn't a simple robbery, it was shotgun wound. He muses, recognizing the professional touch and invoking his Leven Cade status, a high-rank Russian criminal organization. Meanwhile, Leven watches from his truck as a professional cleaning service van arrives. Two women emerge and start prepping to dispose of the evidence, including a large blue barrel. Leven notes this down, adding it to his intel. Just as the cleaners start bagging body parts, Leven gets a call. It's his daughter Meredith. He switches gears instantly, his voice softening, reassuring her he's just working. The call ends with heartfelt, "I love you," a stark contrast to the grim reality. The scene jumps to Leven meticulously tracking the black Mercedes to a luxurious modern mansion. He sets up surveillance in the woods overlooking the house, using high-tech thermal cameras, and patiently observes. Inside, he watches Wolo arguing with his wife. Wolo brutally slaps her. She defiantly grabs a knife. Leven observes the ugly domestic scene impassively through his scope. Leven infiltrates the house, ambushing Wolo by throwing hot jug of tea and leaving him gagged and tied to a chair teetering over an indoor pool. While casually making toast, Leven questions the gagged mob boss. He removes the gag, warning Wolo to keep quiet or end up in the pool, threatens him, boasting, "Do you know who I am? Leven Cade." Leven, unimpressed, punches him. "That's for slapping that woman." Wolo spits, "That woman was my wife!" Leven punches him again. "That's for slapping your wife." Leven retrieves his stolen cash, tossing it into the pool. "Not a thief," he clarifies, demanding Jenny location. He claims he already knows the Russian Mafia's hierarchy. Wolo claims this is all over a girl, mocking Leven. Leven repeats his promise, "I'm not selling her. I'm gonna bring her home, not stopping till I do." Wolo scoffs, "F you." Leven simply states, "Okay, we're done," then casually kicks the chair, sending Wolo plunging into the pool. As the boss struggles and sinks, Leven watches impassively before turning and walking away, leaving the Russian mobster to drown among floating cash. Leven, unbothered, uses the translation app on his phone and founds another suspect's name, Dimi. Outside the warehouse, professional cleaners again meticulously remove evidence of the earlier massacre, loading bodies wrapped in plastic into barrels. Then, a man in a black suit, seemingly the real boss named Simon, arrives at the scene and reviews the footage of Leven's actions. He commands the twins to find out who and why he is doing this. Here, we also find out Dimi is son of Wolo, and unlike Wolo, Dimi is not a businessman, but a mischievous person. In a dark, dirty, dilapidated room, Jenny Garcia is still captive inside, standing near a grimy window with faint light filtering through. She touches the wall, appearing trapped and desperate. A small door or hatch opens. Jenny looks up, startled but somewhat resigned. The captor looks down at her. Jenny pleads her case, stating her name and her parents' names, Joe and Carla Garcia, insisting they have the wrong person and it's a mistake. The captor reacts violently, grabbing Jenny, pulling out an ornate gold-plated pistol and pressing it menacingly against her throat and under her chin. She taunts her about death, comment on her appearance, so fucking pretty, princess, and mockingly tap the gun barrel on her forehead. The captor reiterates the command to eat and get dressed, then slams the hatch shut, leaving Jenny alone in the dark. Leven calls a friend on the police force and asks about Dimi. His friend warns him that Dimi belongs to a dangerous mafia and suggests he check out a bar that sells meth to the Russians. Later that night, Leven returns to that same bar, this time carrying a concealed pistol. The security guards spot the bulge on the pocket, which looked like a gun might be hidden, and one of them is dispatched to investigate. Leven calmly orders a beer and settles onto a stool. When the guard approaches and takes a seat beside him, Leven casually flashes some cash, signaling he's ready to do business. The guard leads him to the back room, where their boss Dutch sits surrounded by burly henchmen. Dutch asks Leven what he wants. Leven states he's interested in pharmaceuticals, drugs. Dutch is informed, by a woman whispering to him, that Leven is armed. He asks Leven if he's a cop. Leven denies it, and orders beard henchmen to search him for a badge. Leven refuses to be searched or disrespected. Dutch signals his men, and a brutal bar fight ensues. Leven efficiently fights off multiple attackers using hand-to-hand combat and improvised weapons. Dutch calmly watches until Leven has dispatched most of them, then yells, "Enough!" Dutch approaches Leven, impressed by his fighting. He examines Leven's hands and determines he's not a cop but a working man, possibly former military. Leven confirms he did his part. They get down to business. Leven asks to buy Blue Glass, a high-quality meth, requesting a regular supply, 4 pounds a month. He negotiates the price down from $7K per half pound, Dutch's Chicago price, to $5K. Dutch agrees to the deal and gives Leven instructions for the first transaction. Meet at a specific pancake house north of Hattie's at 7 a.m., bring $5,000, and then orders him to leave. Leven walks out. Scene change to daylight on a city street. Leven gets out of a black pickup truck and walks towards Pancake House. Inside the diner, Pettis, the bared henchman, and Parker are eating breakfast at a booth. Pettis remarks it's like an awkward Tinder date. Parker nonchalantly pulls the gold-plated pistol from under the table and aims it towards the entrance, confirming the meeting is a setup as Leven presumably approaches. They just hand him a burner phone after collecting the payment and tells to wait for further instructions. Leven annoyed but follows the instruction. As Leven leaves, his new burner rings. Dutch's voice crackles. "The product's under your seat." Leven retrieves a small package, but once outside, he tosses it into the river. Meanwhile, Jenny's captors, Viper and Artemis, shove her into a duffel bag and drive off to deliver her to a client. The man pays handsomely, remarking that Jenny reminds him of a character from his favorite painting. Suddenly, she stirs. She bits the client and client yells to take her back. Back at the bar, Dutch calls Leven to schedule a meeting with his superiors, warning that this deal carries extra risk. The next day, Leven arrives at a sleek hotel in a sharp suit. Dutch introduces him to his supplier, Demi. Leven hands over his payment, but Demi demands to see his driver's license. Leven hesitates, then produces the license. It checks out. Demi nods, satisfied, and opens a sturdy briefcase containing 4 pounds of meth. "Send me an eggplant emoji on that phone if you need more," Demi says. After returning to his hotel, Leven flushes the contraband down the toilet. Then he starts checking photos of Jenny from that night and found suspicious person Viper. He then retrieves Johnny's phone, which he picked up earlier, and discovers Find Viper's photo in the wallpaper, and he also finds chats between Johnny and Viper plotting Jenny's abduction. Using their messages, Leven triangulates Viper's location back to Dutch's bar. That night, Leven stakes out the bar from his van hidden in the trees. Parker spots him on camera and sends a team after him. Leven steals a motorcycle and escapes. Engines roar and headlights slice through the darkness as motorcycles and cars give chase. Gunshots echo, a bike crashes, and sirens wail. The police arrive. Leven crashes into a police car and tries to hide behind it, but officers catches him. Then, the Mafia twins shows again and asks the police to leave Leven to them. That means police were also under the Mafia's payroll. The officer soon subdues Leven. The Mafia twins asks Leven how he knows Demi and what's his business with him. The twins try to end Leven, but soon fight ensues. Fists and gunfire erupt. The van overturns. Leven scrambles free from the wreck. The next morning, Simon discovers the twins' bodies, and they were actually his sons, and he summons War Council. Demi scolds Viper and Artemis for their blunder that cost a $200,000 client, threatens them, and orders Jenny killed. At War Council, after discussion, they found Demi might know Leven. Later, Simon locates Demi. He shows him CCTV footage and demands answers about the man responsible for so many deaths. Demi recognizes the killer and hands Simon a photograph of Leven's driver's license. Simon's men trace Leven's true identity. "Found him," they declare. The following afternoon, Leven gets a call from his daughter Meredith's school. Her grandfather never showed up to pick her up. Leven races to collect her and en route home warns Meredith that he's made dangerous enemies. He asks her to track Roth's phone since it's linked to hers. They discover Roth still at home, but when they arrive, Russian gangsters have beaten him and set the house ablaze. Leven bursts into the burning wreck and carries Roth to safety. Roth, battered and burned, glares at him. "You did this," he spits. "All of it." Mary cuts in, telling Roth he should be thanking Leven for saving his life. Moments later, emergency services arrive. Roth finally nods his thanks, then leaves with Mary. With danger still looming, Leven decides to take Mary somewhere safe, his friend Gunny's remote country house. At the cabin, Leven confides in Gunny, suspecting that Demi might have information about Jenny's location. Gunny listens, then offers a grim warning. "If you're planning to shoot your way in, make sure you're ready to shoot your way out." He leads Leven to a secured room, opens a vault, and reveals a stash of weapons. Leven selects an M14 rifle, deadly and familiar in his hands. As he gets ready to leave, Mary pleads with him. Her voice trembles as she begs, "Please come back, I can't lose you too." Leven promises her he'll try. Meanwhile, Viper and Artemis are driving Jenny to a remote location to kill her and dispose of the body. But during the drive, Jenny suddenly lashes out, kicking wildly. The scuffle throws Viper off, and he loses control of the vehicle. The car crashes. Jenny wastes no time. She kicks the door open and sprints into the woods, hands still bound, bullets whizzing past her. Artemis and Viper give chase, panicked. Artemis snarls, "If she gets away, we're going back to prison." Jenny manages to tear through the ropes binding her wrists and keeps running. Eventually, she stumbles onto a road and flags down a police cruiser. The female officer recognizes her instantly, but instead of helping, she drives Jenny straight back to the kidnappers' hideout. Jenny stares in disbelief as the door locks. Artemis and Viper drag her to a grimy pond, ready to finish the job. But just as they raise the gun, their phone rings. It's their former client. He offers them $1 million to buy Jenny again, on one condition. She must arrive dirty and conscious. He tells them to bring her to his trap house, where a twisted party is already underway. Meanwhile, Leven begins his infiltration of Demi's base. It's brutal and fast. Hallways echo with the sounds of fists, gunshots, and bodies hitting the floor. Blood smears the walls as Leven carves a path forward. "Come closer, and she dies!" Demi yells, holding a gun to someone's head. Leven fires without hesitation and asks the whereabouts of Jenny. Demi denies that he knows the location and asks why kill everyone for just one person. Leven replies that he told her that he has her back. After soon beatings, Demi gets on the car with Leven to the location. After taking care of Demi, Leven searches for Jenny. He sneakily moves hiding behind trees, eliminating the guards one by one. He keeps on eliminating everyone on the way, even Dutch, his people, by using any means necessary. At last, he finds Jenny. He kills Jenny's buyer and gives Viper good beating, and Jenny also somehow manages to make Artemis unconscious. Then suddenly Simon's man arrives in location, but they were instantly eliminated by Leven using gun and a grenade. Then Leven leaves with Jenny on the motorcycle. From a distance, Simon watches the chaos unfold. He calls his brother and reports what he's seen. The voice on the other end is calm, but ominous. The devil's taken what he wanted. We don't go near him now. But Simon can't let it go. He killed my sons, he says through clenched teeth. Then you'll be next, the brother warns. Revenge will break the brotherhood. Simon ends the call and screams into the night. In the aftermath, Jenny is finally reunited with her family. Tears flow freely as they embrace her and thank Leven for bringing her home. Later, back at Gunny's house, Leven and Mary sit together at the table. For the first time in a long while, they share a peaceful meal, laughing gently between bite and story end here. Thanks for watching.